The sound of the final buzzer means it's hangover time. So grab a drink and join your host, Alphonse Sidney, for a Miami Heat Beat postgame show.
Heat win! Heat win! We didn't have to make no trades. The Heat still win. Look at them. They all running around. Oh, let me get James Harden. Oh, let me get Ben Simmons. Oh, Serge Ibaka's going to change. Fuck y'all. Don't need no fucking trade. All we did was boot KZ's dumb ass out of here. Get out of here, Bambi, with your reindeer legs. We don't need all that trade shit. And guess who's still here, Brass? Guess who's still here?
I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving.
Duncan Hive, he's here, baby. Duncan Hive is here. I said Duncan was gonna go 3 for 11 from 3 tonight, and I was gonna sleep like a baby. He went 2 for 10, and I'm still gonna sleep like a baby because we still motherfucking won by 15 points. Once again, on this road trip, the Heat hold another team below 100 points. It's 2022. That shit ain't easy, brother. Like, they are out here whooping ass, taking names, and they don't give a fuck about no trades. Fuck your trade deadline. Fuck your narratives. Karan Butler said that shit on Twitter today. Fuck the narratives. Reality is all we need. Take me out, Brass. Fucking trade deadline. Fucking get out of my goddamn face with all these fucking trades, all this fucking bullshit. All I need is what I got. We got our own back. Get out of here with all that. Fucking Siobhan will get mad at me. Fuck Marcus Morris. I got PJ Tucker, baby.
Oh, we felt we lost PJ tonight, though.
Almost didn't have him, but whatever.
And guess what?
You see, she did not smile.
And you almost didn't have David, but okay.
PJ said, "Oh, y'all need me." He rubbed some tussin on his motherfucking ligaments and
whatever.
He said, "Pass the tussin, please."
Let me see you rub some tussin. That shit is hard. You know, whatever.
Marquis been rubbing tussin on his. Marquis been rubbing tussin on his neck for 6 months.
Ain't been back.
And he said, "You ain't using it right. You gotta get it all in the ligaments."
Yeah, whatever.
You gotta get the tussin in deep to the bone.
Do your show.
PJ need to teach the Morris brothers how to use a motherfucking tussin. I didn't know we was gonna go to tussin this early. Brass, let's find out what everybody's drinking. PJ put Vicks on his knee.
Listen, it's stronger than Vicks.
I'm telling you, he used whatever. In Haiti, we just boil some leaves from the backyard, and that shit will cure anything. My auntie used to not even look at what leaves she was pulling. Fucking boiled poison ivy and made tea out of that motherfucker. And guess what? Guess what? My congestion was gone immediately.
Extra synovial fluids. PJ got a lot.
Listen, man, I'm just happy. Listen,
Hey, Franky.
We're singing Peppers. I don't know the words.
I don't either. I still haven't learned that shit.
In my head, it's going right now.
And no subs, you'll get off to sing it eventually.
There we go. 200 subs, and we got some subs today on that pregame and trade deadline show. Y'all had a bunch of subs. Good job. Heat Beat went live. Check out the podcast. Wherever you get your podcast from. Heat Beat went live at 6 o'clock after the trade deadline. Went for an hour and a half into the Weird Al pregame show. Covered all the trades. Covered everything everything the Heat did. Everything the league did. Really good show. Check it out on the podcast. Wherever you get your podcast from. Did you put it on YouTube, G? Don't worry. G put it on YouTube. I saw his head nod. So we're going to go to Bond first and see if G got his shit fixed. Bond. Bond, over here. Bond, what are you drinking tonight? And who was your player of the game?
Oh, okay. So tonight we have some Kendall Jackson. And my player of the game is an aggressive, power forward, playing ass Bam Adebayo.
Bam at the 4.
This, Listen, this is what I've been asking for. This is what I've been begging for. No, and in all honesty, he's looked really, really, really good the last 4 games. The first game was a lot of the first of the 4, that Raptors game, right, was a lot of Kyle and Gabe setting him up, as they do. Like, that's how they played. That's how they've been playing the game. What I've been asking for is for this dude to just pick his spots, take what they give to you, and just be decisive and be aggressive about it. And he's done that. He's looked like that. The jumper is pretty smooth. The touch is there. The aggression getting downhill. He doesn't even look like he's thinking about things. People are kicking him the ball. He might kick it right back. They'll give it right back, and he's going. Like, ever since whatever game that was, again, shout out Alex. He tweeted Bam's quote, and his quote that night felt like the quote that night felt like
we can hear you.
Yeah, like the quote that night felt like it actually clicked for him that this is how he needs to play, and not just empty words of I have to be more aggressive. And Bam, I got a lot of Bam big opinions, but that's later.
Spo went back to 1994 tonight, brought out the 2 bigs. He was like, I'm going to give you Patrick Ewing and Charles Oakley. Fuck it. Let's go. I learned from Pat Riley. I learned from the King. G, are you there yet?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
What do you drink? Yes, now we can hear you. What are you drinking tonight? And who was your player of the game? And why is it Kyle Lowry with a triple-double?
Triple-double Kyle Lowry.
I know.
So we've been live for an hour and a half, and I produced a new show prior to that. So I've been on air for about 6 hours. So I'm dead. So I'm having a little tea tonight. Heat win, a little tea. Kyle Lowry triple-double. Put that last play in the Hall of Fame, by the way. The one that the Jimmy to behind the head to Kyle to Bam finish. I mean, we
Kyle
need to
blocked.
Hall of Fame.
That was actually a Kyle miss, but I feel you.
That's amazing. Just culture. That what a heat play. Let's have a little tea. Yeah, celebrate. No trades. Fuck that shit. We don't need that.
No trades. Brass, what are you drinking tonight? And who was your player of the game? Your Hangover Time shirt looking crispy.
Oh yeah,
it's like you got different colors than I did.
Looking good.
I think it's your camera.
You didn't go with the black?
I did. My shit be looking faded as fuck.
Well, I'm white, so there's more contrast.
I'm black and 3 month Brass.
Yeah. So my
by the way.
There you go. Tonight, because we're finally at the end, the trade deadline is over. It's gone. It's done, dusted. It's over. I made, to commemorate that, I made a tiki drink called a Trade Wins, which is lemon juice, coconut cream. I made some fresh coconut cream, apricot brandy, a light rum, and a dark Jamaican rum. And it's very tasty and delicious. Speaking of tasty and delicious, my favorite player of the game is also going to be not Kyle Lowry, but Bam Adebayo, because that guy, again, he is putting up monster numbers. He is absolutely dominating, and he is playing the way that we have told him for years, that Bam grabbed the other team by the fucking balls, dude, and he's doing that lately. So I love what he's doing, man.
Bro,
you know who else is grabbing people by the balls? Our subscribers, Heat Nation WBP. Thank you for the tier 1 sub. Dr. Dolphin, subscribe with Prime. Thank you so much for your patronage. If you have Amazon Prime, you have access to a free subscription by clicking the link below in chat. Adam Zaman, just subscribe with Prime right now. Look at that. Our audience is great. They're crispy.
Not enough unsubscribe to beat those allegations.
Some of that ball handling load.
Jesus Christ. Kenny, what are you drinking tonight, and who was your player of the game?
So I have an explanation for my drink, but I'm drinking Publix lemonade. My player of the game is we always ignore him for whatever reason, even though he's the best player on the team. I'm going Jimmy Butler. I mean,
all right.
Yeah, he does what he does. We get used to it. I understand. It's what he's supposed to do. He's the best player on the team. But he was hooping tonight. He finished with, 31, 29, or some shit like that? I don't know. I don't check box scores. 29.
Jimmy and Bam both finished with 29. I did not mention that shit to start out because I was too worried about trades.
And that's impressive for Bam. He's been, like I said on the timeline, like aggressive, that's lazy at this point. This motherfucker's being violent out there. But I'm going with Jimmy. And my explanation for the drink is I was gone for like a week. So also people asking. I wasn't out being responsible. That's not my style. I was catching up on Euphoria, and now I'm scared to like not be sober because Ruby out there fucking up. So take me out, Bryce. So that's the explanation for lemonade.
Yo, where else do you get basketball talk and Euphoria references?
And by the way, look, hey, shout out to Spider-Man. Shout out to Spider-Man. All due respect to Spider-Man, but listen.
He has a name, but okay.
I don't care. He's Spider-Man forever. The little weird one that I don't like that much. Whoa. But, man, Zendaya, you know what? Let's talk basketball.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Hold on, wait a second. After by the way, that's slanderous. And after I mentioned that you get a Prime sub, JS Smooth 14 subscribe with Prime. Rito the Kid subscribe with Prime. Harry Steve subscribe with Prime. What Fig said subscribe with Prime. JCUCF03 subscribe with Prime. We have a fucking hype train going. Look at that. Amazon giving us free shit. Thanks, Jeff Bezos.
Let go. Frankie. Thank you, Jeff Bezos. Fuck you, Jeff Bezos.
Fuck you, Jeff Bezos, but also thank you.
Frankie, what are you drinking tonight, and who was your player of the game?
So I'm drinking a bottle of Stella Rosé. Always mix it up with the camera reversed.
Frankie, can you sing Peppers? Oh, there you go.
No, he does. He said he doesn't
know that. You sing Peppers, buddy. We're getting closer.
And my player of the game, I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I'm kind of mad I didn't prepare for this because I have an I'm Trying Jennifer's t-shirt. And CJ McCollum, player of the game, 6 for 21 in his Pelicans debut. He did not fly tonight. He was very close to the sun. Probably swam a little bit. He sunk pretty deep tonight. But I'm also going to cheat. I'm going to put PJ Tucker because everybody was – I went to the
timeline lost their shit.
And I thought PJ died. These tweets coming out.
Same.
I thought PJ was retiring from basketball. I thought he was gonna have to be rolled off the court in a stretcher. I did not know what was going on. And then I turn on the fourth quarter and he hits the dagger three. I'm like, what? Where was this? Fucking great game. Great performance from Bam and everybody. And I love this fucking team because they can play so many styles, win so many different ways. And I'm drinking straight from the bottle tonight. Let's go, guys.
Hey,
there you go.
There we go.
So we have another sub. Mr. Look Nice subscribed to tier 1. We have Rio SJG subscribed with Prime. We might get to our sub goal of 200 for the month, and Alf may have to sing Pepas for the audience at some points.
Somebody gonna have to teach me Spanish first. Because I just learned Suavemente, and I'm working on Despacito.
Bésame.
You just learned that?
Yo quiero sentir tus labios besándome otra vez.
I hit him with that RoboCop.
Suavemente.
Hey,
Bésame.
Hey. Oh, they love that.
Tus labios.
Yes,
Okay, well, I'm drinking Frankly Organic Vodka, grapefruit flavor with cinnamon. It's fucking amazing. If you have not tried Frankly Organic Vodka, go out to Total Wine, or they have it at Publix now. Shit is amazing, by the way. And my player of the game is none other than Duncan Robinson.
Let's go.
Duncan we live, baby. Hey, never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna turn around and desert you.
Duncan Ashley over here.
Fucking
Look at this man. Look at this.
Yes.
Look, cool as shit. Cool as shit.
Hey,
He
Man
be
went
karaoke.
we gotta talk about how that song's so fucking cold. After a while, I didn't mind getting rickrolled. Like, all right, we know
Fire.
You're watching the whole video.
I was watching the whole video every time. I don't want to see this hood fight no more. I'm cool. Never gonna give you up. Let's go.
My man looked like old people was jamming. Had a deep voice. Never gonna give you up. You felt like he loved that woman. He loved her. You could tell. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. We love you, Duncan.
You're not getting that content nowhere else.
This off season though.
Not even a long shot.
Let me tell you, 2 first-round picks, Duncan and Hero might get you something. We're not doing trade talk today. Y'all did that shit earlier. We're gonna talk about this game, and I'm going to skip G. I normally go clockwise, but I'm gonna give it to Barn real quick because they played the 2 big lineup multiple times tonight, and we've been talking all the time about how they need a backup 4 because we don't know what's happening with Keith. And then you saw what happened to PJ Tucker tonight. Is the backup 4 just Bam? Like, is that what it is? Like,
backup 4 has been just Bam. Bam should have been somewhere near the 4 position more comfortably. What the two big lineup does, it kind of helps Bam actualize the things that we think Bam is, right? I tweeted that I think playing 2 bigs actually does favors for his decoy case, right? You're able to weaponize and to use him in a way that doesn't make you vulnerable and easily to be exploited on the backside. Yeah, he does his fair share of keeping the ball in front, but when they do get it in, you have Pascal abusing Gabe, or you have whomever else down there, just making our people look small. When you have a Bam and a Deadman or a Bam and Yurt. And I have some stuff I want to talk about Bam and Yurt later, but they're able to be aggressive out front and still know that they're secure and taken care of in the back. And then offensively, that's just a combination of Bam just, again, turning it on and deciding, like, this is how I need to play. And they are finding ways and spaces with 2 bigs on the floor that actually make it look good. And Bam being aggressive is the thing that is going to take them over the top. Like, yeah, the backup 4 should be Bam. And this is one of the reasons I've been calling for Bam at the 4, because I like length and athleticism and what he can give you at that spot. And I think it's looked good.
Gee, one of the things, like, Bond and I always argue about the Bam, and is he a 5, is he a 4? One of the reasons that I'm always like Bam as a 5 is because, first of all, I think his best position is a 5, right? And because offensively, no matter what they do, he plays the 5. Like, offensively, defensively, he can roam, but offensively, he plays the 5. When you don't have Jimmy in there, because Jimmy, almost plays a 4 role, a classic 4 role. When you don't have Jimmy in there, is there room? Instead, if you're worried about a backup 4 role in the playoffs, is there room for more big 2 big lineups when Jimmy's sitting?
I think it depends. So, like, I thought today it made sense to have Kyle with that unit because even if the spacing is not perfect, pace allows you to have better spacing because you kind of get yourself in mid transition, right? There was a play where Kyle was in mid transition. Yurt set like a little down screen. He rolled to the basket. Bam kind of rolled on the other side, and it was a lot of motion. And I think all starts with kind of your point guard, being able to shoot and B, kind of getting you in gear. So I like the looks with Lowry specifically, not so much with Jimmy, but I think it depends on the matchup, right? Because if you have Yurt in the game and if you're playing, and I thought Nikias articulated this really nicely on the pod yesterday or the day before. The day before, he's like, you really want Yurt or Deadman running out on that closeout on Brook Lopez on that pick and pop, right? Because you're going to have him in a drop. So it's things like that we have yet to see. I'd like to see them tested against some more shooting and more kind of stretchy bigs. And like, hey, let's see if they can make that rotation out. Because if they're going to be in a drop, they're going to have to make that. And if they're going to kind of contain the ball handler, they're going to have to kind of get back out there. So I think it's yet to be seen. I thought the offense today looked a lot better than I expected it. I thought the Yurt high-low stuff was good. So, so far so good. But I think there's questions to be answered in terms of how they fared defensively against certain teams.
Kenny, Troppy Baby Alex Salido in the chat says Kyle needs to be stable to those double big spurts. But I don't know if that's that hard, right? Like, rotations are rotations for a reason. Like, you move guys in and out, and if your answer at the backup 4, for the time being, or for going further, is Bam basically your backup 4 offensively and your 5 defensively, and you move guys around, like, there's enough there. We have enough in Spo's terms. We have enough to make that work, especially like on a night where Caleb can't be your backup 4. And let's say you're playing a team where Caleb is too damn small to be the backup 4. Like, you can go to this lineup a little bit more.
Yeah, I did want to point that out too. So I do think Bam is a 5, but Bam is also Bam. He can kind of do whatever he wants, like somebody in the chat said. So him at the 4 is also great. Now, we have seen him obviously look much better with a Jay Crowder and with a PJ Tucker, but we have Eric Spoelstra. He can definitely figure out these 2 big lineups. I mean, Dedmon, he's been knocking shots down when he needs to. I'm still not really understanding the Yurt thing yet. He has to like get with a shooting coach. But right now, he is developing, and development looks like development. So it's gonna take time. I'm sure next year he'll be fine. But yeah, the Bam at the 4 and Dedmon at the 5, especially depending on which team they go against. Like let's say it's a Milwaukee or somebody who can trot out 2 bigs. You can counter that with them. I mean, they tried it last year in the playoffs. It didn't work out because it was so new. They weren't used to each other. But I think now in these last
it was too late for that shit by that point.
Yeah, now these last 27, 26 games, start trying it out now, just in case you run into one of those teams.
Franky, you gonna be okay? I'm sorry, Kenny, but Franky out here just
hitting it hard, man.
I mean, taking that red to the head, man. Like,
how can we say we've seen Bam play best as a 5 when we haven't really seen him play as a 4? Like we haven't really seen him.
Though.
So like, we did with Myers and with
Are you talking about like younger Bam, like 2 years ago, Bam?
I mean, it's really a year and a half ago because the bubble fucked up our internal clock.
I mean, the funny thing is, when I was in the locker room, I remember, humble brag, even though I fucking hated it. When I was in the locker room, Myers Leonard would complain because basically he had to play the power forward position and he felt he was a center. But he was on offense, he was standing at the 3-point line because you couldn't play a traditional 5 next to Bam. So he had to be a volume 3-point shooter, and he was a good shooter. But the fact is, like, he would only get off 4 threes a game. And when Jay Crowder came in, what they realized is Jay is going to shoot. To me, like, it's never been about how good you shoot next to Bam. It's about how willing of a shooter you are, because that makes the defense react to you. And especially when you're out there with Jimmy. Like, Jimmy, the problem with Bam at the 5 or Bam at the 4 is not Bam. The problem is Jimmy.
Yeah, he don't have to be on the floor for them lineups.
But that's what I'm saying. If Jimmy's off the floor, and I like it when Jimmy's off the floor. But Franky, what I wanted to ask you was, like, I am enjoying the fact that the Heat are so confident right now that they out here playing. They're playing. They're trying things against a team on the road. Like, the Heat feel like they're that badass right now. Like, if you're a bad team, you don't try no funky new shit on the road, even if it's against the Pelicans. Like, you just try to stick to your game and try to win. The Heat are out here trying new shit on the road against the Pelicans. I feel like that's a sign of a confident-ass team.
Well, Alf, when you're a top 15 coach of all time,
and
you've got all the security that G thinks you can shit on the court.
I believe that.
I think he's just going to try whatever he needs to. And honestly, all jokes aside, like I think it's a great opportunity to just try shit. Like I had questions about the big lineups last year, but it was mostly because I didn't think they had the personnel to fit it around them. Like the Kyle playing with them and organizing the offense, directing everything, moving the ball instead of like going back to Jimmy and holding and there are 2 guys clogging the paint. It makes so much more sense with Kyle because he's swinging it around, finding the advantage, moving the ball, attacking the creases, getting the ball to the right guy. And they're using Dedmon in the dribble handoff. He having Bam in the dunker spot. You saw there were plays where they threw Dedmon a lob and they didn't even rotate because they were afraid that Bam was going to get the lob on the other side. So you needed that kind of playmaking advantage because you missed that. You missed that aspect of the offense. And like, I don't think it's a coincidence that Bam's been playing as well as he's been playing lately. Since Kyle's been back, you finally have a guy who's looking big first. Hey, Big's wide open on the pick and roll. Let me give it to him. And I was tired of Bam almost hitting his head on the fucking backboard and not getting the fucking ball. It's been great to see. I like this. Yeah, yo, Dave, I'm at my girlfriend's house. I made like 15 comments about me breaking up with my girlfriend.
Why did you broke up with your girlfriend?
No, I didn't. He's like, yo, he's drinking the pain away. He's got his breakup hoodie on.
Jesus.
Hey, chill out.
Breakup hoodie.
Create a whole story.
Take him out, Brass, before he starts crying.
Yeah, really.
Fan fiction out here.
I did want to say it's an exciting time to be a Heat fan. And I think we all need to soak this in and enjoy this because Spo is now officially without question, a top 15 NBA coach of all time. We all knew this, but
Of
now
all
it's
time.
proven of all time. Now
That's going back to when they didn't let black people play. Like,
now it's official. And not only that, we have seen Spo coach for years now, and I think what we have seen from Spo this season, it really started peaking in the bubble, but I think even he's improved even since then. He is as good a coach now as he has ever been. And this team has the pieces on this team there are so many different combinations in which you could throw stuff out. And we haven't even seen all the combinations, but he tinkers with lineups and he gets success with lineups. And on top of that, just like last season, when the team was floundering around the trade deadline, and last year we were clamoring for trades, and we got a trade in Victor Oladipo. And now we still made that same trade this year because Victor Oladipo is gonna be coming soon. And it's just, I know there are some people out there a little disappointed that other teams made moves. And listen, it wasn't that the Heat were cocky, that they chose not to make a move. No, they chose not to make a lateral move. They're only gonna make a move and go for a player if it's going to substantially help their chances at winning a title this year. And I got news for you: there wasn't a fucking deal out there that was really gonna do that. But they still, to me, they're still in driver's seat to be able to win a title this year. And they're because of the picks and the pick swap that they did with KZ and sorry, thank you for your time, KZ. They still are in a position to make those moves going forward in this offseason. So they can play, the front office can play, Spo can play, and we can sit back and just enjoy the ride.
And don't say Rui Hachimura to me anymore either.
No.
Like, what are we even doing with that?
Oh my god!
I don't mind. I didn't mind that. I didn't mind. Well, no, you know what? We're after this, we're gonna get back to. I kind of want to talk about the guys that are available on the buyout market. I want to talk about some of the we got Devin's Garage, we got Bond's Breakdown, we got the guy of the game. Sheesh. But I would be remiss to forget that this is Black History Month, right? Right, guys? Very important. Like you listen. I see what G trying to distract from what's important right now. It's February, okay? It's Black History Month, and a lot of people are tuned in to see, because every episode we're teaching people new things about Black History Month, and I feel like the audience loves it. And tonight we're going to teach you some things about Rosa Parks that you might not have known. So go ahead, Brass.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed.
Looking Black in Time.
Rosa Louise Macaulay Parks was an American activist in the civil rights movement, best known for her role in the Montgomery bus boycott. On December 1st, 1955, Parks rejected a bus driver's order to vacate a row of seats in favor of a white passenger. The white passenger referred to this pivotal moment as an integration situation, but the phrase never caught on.
This was another edition of Looking Black in Time.
Important history.
I love learning things.
Okay, I'll play again.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed.
Looking Black in Time.
Rosa Louise Macaulay Parks was an American activist in the civil rights movement, best known for her role in the Montgomery bus boycott. On December 1st, 1955, Parks rejected a bus driver's order to vacate a row of seats in favor of a white passenger. The white passenger referred to this pivotal moment as an integration situation, but the phrase never caught on.
This was another edition of Looking Black in Time.
I learned something new.
Hey, and I'm off that train too. I was the last one. I was like, listen, Crotty's a horrible announcer, but it's kind of funny. And tonight, that shit went away instantly. He said, a rebounding type foul on a missed situation. Like, nah, I'm good.
Man, went in the bag. That's his dream shake. That's the Crotty dream
That's
shake.
his dream shake.
That's his dream shake. Did you guys
God.
hear Eric Reed say he was going to push the, quote, BAM agenda?
Yeah.
Man saying
Reed
agenda
said
on there.
situation like twice.
He also that man's a rare form. Career year for Eric Reed.
He's fucking with Crowdy on the situation shit, which I love.
Did you hear how they started the game?
No.
He said, this is beware folks or whatever. He said, this is one of those arenas where all the fans stand until they make the first basket. And so the few people that are here are going to be standing.
I heard that shit. That's like it was the bubble. He was like, the few people that are here.
When you have job
you look at the
security,
crowd,
you
there's
do
like four dudes standing up eating beignets.
A patch over here, like 3 people over here, like 6 down here.
Eric Reed has this is his best year ever. This is Eric's Mona Lisa.
I don't know.
Yeah, we said that last year.
Last year when he started roasting on Blake for no
What he
reason.
did to Blake Griffin.
That was a 60-point game for him.
That was a precursor.
Legitimately, I hope I wish you guys were around for Dr. Jack, man, because like that was the prime time for
Leonard.
That was the best duo. Tony's amazing. I love and miss Tony, but like Dr. Jack was the best.
I came around Mike Fratello, but the team was bad, so it wasn't whatever.
No, I don't know. I've never heard a Heat fan once talk about missing Mike Fratello.
Nobody missing Mike Fratello because they were bad at the time, man. Like he out here telestrating bullshit.
Yo, shout out to that Paul 3 for the prime sub. Man, you guys have really come through today. By the way, we're getting close to the sub goal. We're getting close. I think we'll reach it.
I do want. I'm going to go behind the curtain because I don't know what's happening.
Wait. Switch rules. Don't do it. Don't do it. God damn it.
That's just a preview.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm going behind the scenes right now because I don't know what do we have Bond's breakdown?
Yes.
Okay, and we have Dedman and we have Gaga.
Spoiler alert, but yes.
Okay, which one do you want to do first? I'm asking you right now. I'm just going behind the curtain. I've had a little bit too much Frankly Organic, and I didn't know what we had for sure.
You pick it. Let's go.
Let's go Gaga of the game. Okay. So this was just Bam continuing to be aggressive like he was all night. Just doing what a big man's supposed to do. Gabe beats a man off the dribble, goes for the layup. I mean, this is a play that G was talking about earlier on the fast break. Bam was just following, using his size, and just on me bitch ass. Like it was tonight was just.
That didn't even look real.
No, it's just like
Jimmy.
It's floating, man.
He should have.
Springy as fuck today. And Dedman.
Oh my Dedman.
Lift.
Dedman replaced his shots in his hips tonight.
Got one of them mechanical, not the hand crank, but he has the
I'm getting these struts right here because when you get old, the hip be going first.
I was shook when Dedman went down. I was shook. Obviously, PJ Tucker. We were all like, "Oh,
Grass." We were on a call together. We were screaming.
We were. But I could tell when they played it back. I could tell Dedman got hit in the face, so I was less concerned. But like, I mean, it looked like he slipped on some oil.
Yo, Spo was mad at Dedman for that shit. Y'all saw that? Spo was like, Spo don't play that.
Really?
You got faced a little bit. Spo was like, get your ass up and play defense because they scored on that play. And Spo called timeout, and he didn't even look at Dedman. He just walked past his ass like Iverson on Ty Lue. Just walked over. Get your ass up.
Top 15 of all time.
I tell you though, I did not agree with Spo putting PJ back in the game though.
Yeah.
I didn't love it.
He slightly grazes me.
Man,
I was scared,
it's
man.
Not worth. I don't think it's worth it.
Pissed.
I don't think it's worth it.
Y'all so
Yeah,
scary.
but the
They
thing
had
you gotta
enough.
remember is
Chat just
thing
said
you gotta remember
Giannis
is
just got
PJ is
hurt.
just old. Like PJ, he's old. Nobody above 27 has decent knees.
Ooh,
He's fine.
Giannis
Wow,
rolled his
wow.
ankle.
Wait. What you talking about?
No, I'm 29, and if I get up right now, my knees are gonna sound like a Just Blaze kick drum.
Are you okay?
I'm right there with y'all.
Stupid.
That's true as fuck.
Oh, he just-
Sometimes I be fucking my wife. She's like,
Oh, Giannis
she
is back up. He's fine.
What?
She sleep. I
What?
be fucking
You are on the
and
air.
fucking with my
Okay.
wife.
Oh,
And we be on the couch. I'm like, listen to this. And I be flexing my leg out, and my knee just popped like 18. I got no cartilage left.
Johnson's down the throat.
Hot after dark. I said fucking with my wife.
Bro, I didn't hear the whip.
None of y'all heard it. 'cause
Vaughn,
your
you're with me.
minds are
You
in the
didn't hear that,
gutter.
right?
You guys
I
are
heard
fucking
you.
deep.
but then he said on the couch. Like, where are we going?
I was like, whatever.
You know when the last time my big ass fucked on the couch? You can't fuck on no couch. Man. I
Yeah.
got
Okay,
bad
like,
back,
it's been since
bad
like
hips.
2011 for me. I'm too big for that.
Cry.
Taking one right in the throat there.
Let's go to Deadman's garage, you fucking filthy animal.
My favorite though, that old black man that work on everybody's car in the black neighborhood. You know you need a little carburetor fix or something, you go to him, he be talking to you whole time with his just hanging off his lip. What you got there now? What you got a flimmer? Yeah, bring that back around about 4 o'clock. There ain't no goddamn problem. I'll put a carburetor on there for you. I used to work out the plant 15 goddamn years. I put a carburetor on there for you. Nigga, just bring me back a pair. Boy, you know what, boy? You look like your goddamn daddy. You don't look like you leave.
The shirtless one always gets me.
I can tell y'all young people talking about fucking on a couch. That should take all kinds of core strength, body control.
And range of motion ain't there. It's not
Yeah,
worth it. It's almost
okay.
as bad as the car. This is a basketball show. Let's get to it.
Just out here showing off.
Hold on,
Showing off. I ain't got to show off. Me and my wife grown. Let's go find someplace comfortable. Speaking of comfortable,
Is it? Like, what?
look at Speaking of no cartilage in your knees, look at my man. Look at him. I mean, that was an athletic
Gliding.
ass move.
Gliding.
Look at that first step.
That man said, I changed my fronts and my shot. He got his whole alignment fixed. I be forgetting the little.
Come here, young blood.
What's happening?
Listen, man. Best backup 5 in the league.
Of
I
all time.
imagine him just whispering. That's too.
Of all time.
Look at that.
But you know what I liked about this play? He got this little springy ass motherfucker Jackson Hayes behind him. He's like, get the fuck out of here, young blood. Bop.
They're the box out. But
Just-
every Heat championship team has had a great backup 5. You got
That's
Earl,
absolutely
you got
true.
Earl, Ronnie Turiaf, like
Yeah.
always need one.
Ronnie, look. Let's go back to that. Oh
Sure,
my!
yeah.
Look at my man. Y'all old and slow, my ass, motherfucker. look at the move.
Outran everybody.
No, he didn't outrun anybody.
I mean,
You really did it.
That was 100% Stru slowing somebody down. He said, "Oh, got you." Fuck.
yeah, because him and Gabe would lockstep.
Cash only, motherfucker.
He said, I'm not paying that fucking service charge. Get the fuck out of here.
No, really,
And
he
you run
ain't.
all this way, motherfucker.
No way he accepts Apple Pay at the garage.
No.
Right?
Nah. Come on.
Hell
You're
no.
not tapping a card or your phone.
No, but you know, like the synchronized players. Look at the two of their legs. Oh, damn.
Go back.
Oh, I'll play it again. Fuck it.
Look at their legs. Oh, and then it's all creaky.
Oh, man.
You know when somebody says, like, "Can I pay with Apple Pay?" He's like, "Fuck Bitcoin."
He totally writes down the credit card number like old school.
Yeah, but ironically, he's fucking hawking NFTs.
But you know he's writing down your driver's license number on the receipt.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I'm gonna find you,
You got a
motherfucker,
little notepad.
just in case this shit
With a
bounce.
pencil.
The
You
yellow
gotta
copies.
Receipt book, right?
Receipt.
A
You
receipt
said
book.
you ain't gonna insufficient fund my ass. God damn
He puts
it.
on his glasses when he's writing it.
He said you take Apple Pay. He said fuck crypto. I don't know about that shit.
Steal
Banks
from
under
me.
the mattress.
He said I take cash money. He's the last person accepting checks.
He
And
looks.
runs that
He
shit
looks
through a
right.
feeder,
He looks
too.
at the dollar through the light.
Oh yeah. You trying to find that bar?
He's been burned before. It's not gonna happen
he
again.
ain't. Somebody ran through an 86, pumping fake 20. Don't fuck with me.
Yo, 2 quick ones right now. Just Jared 92 subbed, and I forgot Henryo 888 subscribed 20 minutes ago, and I missed them. Shout out to you, my man.
Hell yeah.
E5 Arrow in the chat says fuck FTX. You know Devin was like, what the fuck is going on with this bullshit? Devin was like, oh.
Devin said, I'm calling it Staples, and that is final.
He said, are you in? He said, nah, I ain't in. I don't know what the fuck that shit is.
I love Devin. I still look at him and I'm still like amazed that I'm older than him. Like it doesn't compute for me. But then when I saw him posting about NFTs, I'm like, well, yeah, I guess
He's
younger
closer to my age than he is to your age. It's
than me.
wild.
Crazy.
Definitely.
His grandson runs his accounts, man. It's not him.
Alf, have you heard that Matt Barnes story? I don't know if this is real. The flight story with the time zones.
No, go ahead.
He bought a ticket. He was going to the airport, like in the central time zone, and he goes and he's flying to LA. And he said he's like, wait, it's 9 o'clock now. How am I getting there? And it's 9 o'clock. He goes, yeah. Like they're like, what do you mean? Like it's time zone. He's like, I'm not getting on no goddamn time machine.
Holy shit.
He asked for a refund.
I bet Devin takes the bus to the West Coast. He said, I ain't doing it. Ain't gonna pull your voodoo witch tricks on me. God damn it.
He misses the good old days of old airport security. Hold on to this new fandangled. You should just be an honest word and a handshake would get you through.
He misses where flight attendants were flight attendants. He don't like the male flight attendant. He's like, I don't do that.
He'll work on the planes and get a ticket.
He still call them stewardesses.
I don't do that.
I don't fuck with these male flight attendants.
His flights are never delayed because he just puts the work in himself.
He's like, well, you got an engine problem?
Excuse me, is there a mechanic on board?
You got the landing gear ain't working. Well, yeah, the problem.
He'll fly
I
the
go see
damn
that,
plane
and then all of a
himself.
sudden he puts it like his fucking like eye thing. I was like, I'm here. It's like, I got
Like
it.
opens one eye, like
Right. Hmm?
You know he shows up to the airport in coveralls, just in case some shit pop off.
That toolbox is in the carry-on.
And it's in the carry-on. And
He's not fucking around. He's ready.
He said, "Don't check me with that metal detector because I'm a fail." He tells him straight up. He said, "You better pat me the fuck down."
You'll thank me later.
He's taking out his
He said,
wrenches
"Don't-"
and screwdrivers.
He said, "Don't put me through that fucking thing that sees through my clothes."
I feel like he'll MacGyver it though if he doesn't. He's like, "Yo, anybody got a toothpick?
Yeah,
and some a rubber band and a paper clip."
You know he in the airport, so he's like, "Hey, anybody got one of them plastic sandwich cases?"
So I'll take the sandwich too while you're at it.
I need a Starbucks cup, a straw, and a plastic sandwich case, and a Vogue magazine. Fix this shit up real quick.
And make sure that sandwich box is full. What do you
Yep.
need the sandwich box? Sandwich for? You're like, I'm hungry. Put me to work.
All right. More importantly, let's get to Bond's breakdown.
Jesus,
Thank you.
y'all dragged
Thank
that
you.
out.
Oh, hold up. Let me break it down so it can forever and consistently be broke.
My God.
Oh my God, the whole chat is like, "Would y'all shut the fuck up?"
Quality
Get the
content
damn
here on
back-
Twitch.
I agree.
Bond breakdown.
No, that was great.
Big lineup.
Does
Yeah,
you know how
that's
much
why-
these people have been podding today? I mean, come on. People are a little loopy.
This is
I don't know
I
what
just
that
have
is.
4 plays, and it's all bam and a big. The first one, you can go ahead. The first one though is with Jimmy on the floor, so pause. So we have right side closeout, and then you have that is Max, Gabe, and Deadman on the left. So you have the Jimmy Bam 2-man. Right now, Jimmy is gonna tell Bam to post up on the other side. It's a good idea. Go ahead. Jimmy direct him. Go that way. passes it to him open on his open side, pause. So now you have Dedmon ducking in. Bam has to like retreat dribble because he's been cut off, but you see like pieces of where things can happen. Max is over there in the corner. I don't know if Bam can get him that there. Go ahead. But just, it's a little clunky. Jimmy's there though. It's okay. This is where I kind of want there to be action on the other side when Jimmy settles for his ISO. But go ahead. And so now you have Bam and Yurt. Bam's going to pin down for Yurt, pop out, duck in. Yurt, Bam, high low, misses it, gets it, goes back up. Simple, no wasted motion. Bam get here is aggressive, physical on the clear out, doesn't foul though, springy, and goes back up. It can be done, man. Go ahead. So defensively, pause, right? So defensively, I think a lot of what can be good about this is, of course, Bam being out front and being able to be active and keep the ball in front of him. But I like Yurt has been moving his feet better, and a few times Yurt was swallowing this ball handler coming off this screen. So go ahead. You have Yurt, Kyle, pause. Bam's alert. He's paying attention. He's checking what's going on. Max sees dude in the corner. So you have this ball handler out front. Go ahead. Pause. Look at it. Like, that's great pressure. He gets it along the baseline, and it's okay. But look how far out he's pressed. Look how far out he's pushed. Look how much space that is. Now this is where we rotate, right? We recover. Go ahead. Max, it's a fine recovery. And now Bam mistimed his jump, but now we're in good position to rebound because we still have some size down there. Then the last one, just even more of Yurt pressing up and how high he's extending their defenses. Look at this. Press, pause. He's at half court. Like this I think is going to help them. You had Bam, who's probably your smartest defensive IQ guy. He's in the back. He can direct. He can get other people in places, and they don't give up anything should the ball get closer. Go ahead. It's fine. He gets it out. We rotate. Bam, stunts. Jonas is going to give him his fake. This stun again, stays down. Now we're in my stance. I'm using my leverage. Kyle directed. If Yurt comes and helps quicker, maybe that's something, but that's all I have. Like, it can be done. It looks good. They have to work it a bit more, and I think there's real utility for it other than just, maybe some spot minutes here and there. They get more pieces with it. They get more comfortable with it. It is a good look for them, and that is going to help them with long, switchy, long rangey perimeter teams. If they can do that, and if Bam can maintain his aggression with that.
Nice.
Bon, I have a question for you. Do you think that can work with Jimmy on the floor?
I think it can. I think like the first play, it kind of showed that it can. They had the look there. Bam just didn't have the space or like the angle to make the pass. Like it can. It is gonna have to be a little bit creative. Like they had it one time. Bam is like posting up past the baseline. Like Bam is posting up out of bounds. Like he's in the dunker spot, like 2 feet out of bounds, and that's opening up space. It's gonna look different, but I do think that they can do it. And if they do it with Jimmy in the game, he will then be the one on the ball and hopefully maybe a bit out so that the rest of the other two on the floor with the bigs can get some space.
And it would be great if they did something on the weak side so that help doesn't come right away.
Yes.
And they're not just standing around space. Like that's going to really test Spo to implement some weak side action on those kind of plays, because Bam can read it, can take a second, catch it, and read and look over just to see what's there and not just try to rush and quick. That comes with experience too. But if they run something on the weak side instead of just standing around, it's going to be a lot easier for
Franky, Alf, they did something similar a couple of games ago. They had this Bam and Dedmon in, and they had a Dedmon Gabe pick and roll, and they were rolling Dedmon to the left side, but they had Max in the corner. And so like if you like clear Max out on like a hammer screen, get him moving, like you free that up all the way. I think it can be done. If they need it.
My language.
No, they're talking about hammer screens and all this stuff. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about, to be honest with you. You understand all that shit. There's you understand that stuff. Is this something that can be done, in your opinion, more often with Jimmy, or is it something that you do in spot minutes?
I think
or
it's
is it
5
something
minutes.
that you only do when Caleb isn't available to play a small ball 4?
You know, I think only assists beats in absolutes, so never say never. But I do think that it's
Did you
not
just
going to
go nerd
be.
Star Wars on me?
I don't even like Star Wars, but
Such
I
a
just
nerd.
think that's a great quote. Never say never. Never rule out. If you rule out an option, that's rule number one is don't rule out anything, right? Like you need to have an open mind and have everything on the table so that you can have as many options as you can to problem solve. Do I think it's going to be, do I think it can work with Jimmy? Depends on the matchup. And I think sometimes if Jimmy, is hitting the mid range and has enough juice, I think at times it looked clunky. Today, even with Bam and Yurt, like they and Bam and Dedmon, sometimes they get in each other's way. Sometimes the spacing is not good. Sometimes if the initial trigger gets kind of blown up, they don't really have a lot. And that'll come with time. So as more reps and stuff like that. So I think it's more of a counter than kind of a fulcrum, right? It's something that you can go to a ton. I don't know if they can go to it a lot against smaller teams because I do think that they're just not going to be able to defend quicker wings, particularly kind of Yurt and Dedmon, who are just not too quick of foot. And if they're going to have to close out on shooters and kind of rotate on the perimeter, it's just not really what you want from them. So I think it's a spot minute thing. I think it's a matchup by matchup basis. I think if Caleb misses time, it's a natural thing to go to. It looks good. I'm not going to lie. It looks better than I thought. I'm not, but I think ruling anything out is foolish. So work on it, get in your bag, know what you have. So when you have matchups in the playoffs, you know exactly what you have. You've all worked on it. You have game situations that you've practiced in, and you can tackle something to the best of your abilities.
I mean, and Spo's done something like this before in the past. He did the Bosch and Birdman lineups. He did it with Mario and Norris Cole. The biggest difference is we don't have a waste of space like Norris Cole on the court right now. They play
whoa.
Norris Cole.
Don't do that.
Norris Cole is an awful basketball player.
Yeah, you saw how high he jumped when Ray was trying to make three. I mean, come on.
That's contribution.
That's two-time NBA champion Norris Cole, though.
He is.
Imagine winning a championship your first 2 years in the league, man.
Yeah.
And then you're out like 3 years later. Like that.
Exactly.
So I put it in the chat. Go ahead and hit us with some questions. We're going to close this out soon. We're at 53 minutes. I've had way too much organic vodka. So hit us with the questions. Oh, Brass, you on point. You right. Listen, me and Brass got synergy. That's why we hang out when Brass comes down sometimes, and I hang out with his family. And I've talked about what a beautiful white family he has. A beautiful bunch of white people are just like they're super progressive and liberal. They're just amazing. It's like being in Get Out without having to drink the tea.
Sac passé.
Oh my goodness!
I love how Kenny loves that shit. Kenny from Miami for real. Vicio Bueno 1 says Bembry time soon come. So apparently Bembry, I don't even know his fucking first name. I just know every time he plays the Heat, he kills their ass. Is a buyout candidate, and I have my thoughts on Bembry, but I kind of want to listen. I want to hear your guys' thoughts because right now we're at the point the trade deadline's over. We have 2 open roster spots. They have to fill at least one. It's probably going to be Caleb getting a regular contract, but they still have an open roster spot. So the buyout market for the Heat is right. Like they can pull, they can do something in the buyout market. If Bembry's available, is that somebody that you would look at?
6'6", a little on the smaller side, yeah. So I mean, shooting 42% from 3, 62% at the rim. You want that to be a little higher. 37 from mid, not good. So kind of hope he could be a 3-and-D guy. Not a good free throw shooter. Doesn't take a lot of attempts, but just really, really poor. 60% free throw shooter. I'm not going to say no to a quality player, competes on defense and stuff like that. So, I mean, I think it'd help. I'm not going to say no. So I think they do need to find something in the Bembry kind of price range. What I do think is interesting is, and I talked about this on MHB today when we talked about the trade deadline stuff, something we have to keep in mind is they have 2 spots open, but they need to stay under the tax because they cannot become a repeater tax team by the time that Tyler's extension kicks in. I think that's important for everybody to know. So if they if they convert Caleb, because they have some of their mid-level exception money left, because they only use 7 something on PJ, so they have like about 2 and change million that they can use for Caleb, and then that could extend to next year as well. So they can sign Caleb to a 2-year deal with that money. They can keep him cheap for next year as well. That may be a route that they want to go, but I believe, and I wish Brian was here, if they do that, they probably aren't going to be in the buyout market because they don't want to, because they're so up against the tax that you have to be really careful, because if you're a tax team, even by $1, you will be a repeater team by the time that Tyler's money kicks in. So that's something to keep aware of if they either go with another guy and ride with Caleb on the 2-way and roll the dice in free agency with him, or you just lock Caleb up and you just ride with what you have.
I like the idea of rolling with Caleb as the 2-way since this season all of the 2-ways were guaranteed anyway, and like shoot your.
You might lose him next year though. I guess
think
is
you
the
do.
thing. Huh?
I would say shoot your shot with him for like in the off season.
That's what the Heat do though. They always bet on themselves. Like they're like, hey, are you really going to walk out this door?
Wait, I thought he can't play in the postseason as a 2-way.
I think they changed that.
They changed that.
No, I don't. No. I think
maybe they got rid of the 50-game restriction, but the playoffs.
They got rid of the 50-game restriction, but the 2-way players cannot play in the playoffs.
I had not heard that.
I'm gonna call Brian Goins right now. I'm gonna get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, I saw that today.
Well, then if that's the
players,
case, then you have to.
They have to convert Caleb because they need him for the playoffs.
Then I didn't know that. You have to convert him. Okay.
Yeah, so that's why, to me, and Bon, we talked about this earlier. That's why I'm not a huge fan. If Bembry's the best you can get, then I like Bembry. I do like him as a player. But Bembry there's a lot of redundancy with Caleb, in my opinion. Another 6'5" small ball 4. G, mute your microphone while you're talking.
He was.
No, I want to tell you, Brian. I'm on the phone with Brian. Brian said that he can't play.
Wow. Okay. Oh yeah, no brainer.
So Alpha's right.
Yeah.
That's the
move.
Right,
so yeah. Okay. So then, but I don't think you get that much redundancy, and it's not redundancy that they are like extra deep in. Like Caleb gives you some downhill thrust. And I'm watching some Bembry stuff. Like Bembry can give you some downhill stuff from the wing position, and they don't have a lot of that. So at most, I think you're getting like reinforcements. I don't know that you're necessarily becoming redundant at that spot. And I think Bembry gives you a bit more size than Caleb. Another springy, you can't have too many athletes. Like you can't have too much energy or too much, bounce. Like if he's available, and then I would do it. If you don't think that something else maybe a bit better is available in that same pond.
If we're talking about buyout guys, then let's bring this one up.
No, ma'am.
I wanted to go to Kenny with this one because Kenny's about sentimentality. He loves some sentimental shit. Kenny's a softie, man. Kenny, you just
I am. I ain't gonna lie, man.
You love rom-coms.
Anyway, we should say for the pod audience, guys, 94 said, can we bring up Goran Dragic getting picked up by the Spurs?
Can I? Let me close out the Caleb thing because Brian just explained it to me. He likely won't take a mid-level, whatever's left of the MLE, because he's going to just get more money in free agency. So what he said, what is expected is they sign him for the rest of the deal. They will have his restricted free agency rights, and they'll be able to sign him with their non-taxpayer mid-level exception next year. So about kind of like around the 10 million.
So he's going to get the prorated minimum.
Yes,
he's going to get the prorated minimum for this year. So a lot of people are acting like they can't fill out that 15th roster spot because of the tax. That's not true. It's not true because everyone thinks that they're going. Like, everyone thinks if they fill out the 15th roster spot before the deadline to sign players for the playoffs, they're going to go into the tax. That is not true. And you can ask Brian for me, but I don't believe that's true. I believe if they can pick up a 15th roster spot before the playoffs, and it doesn't put them in the repeater tax.
Yeah. I like
real quick on Bembry. I disagree with him being like another Caleb. Caleb's guarding 1 through 3 most of the time. He's got they have him as their point of attack defender a lot of the times because he's good around screens. He battles. He's scrappy. Bembry's going to be your 3-4 off the bench more often. He moves the ball well. He a positive assist to turnover ratio every year. He started 20 games with the Nets this season. Like he's been around enough, and like I mean the 40% 3, like it's on less than a 3 per game. He can hit a catch and shoot three, but he's going to be a cutter, slasher, transition guy, a spark plug. Like, think Derrick Jones without the hops.
Caleb.
Yeah.
No,
but it's not redundant. So don't. So maybe don't use. It's not. Why is it redundant? You have only two people that do the thing.
That's redundant. Like my thing is.
So is Max and Duncan redundant?
Yeah, no, because one is a starter, one's a bench player. Once you start getting into a bench player and then a third string, you start to get redundant when you talk about a 9-man rotation in the playoffs.
Oh, but he's like the 15th man.
There's no redundancy
in
this
It's my thing is if you're talking about a backup four, right? Right now, the backup four is Caleb Martin. Right now, give me the other backup four. It's Caleb Martin.
So then you move Caleb to the 3.
But why would you bring in another Caleb to be Caleb?
Because he's not.
Like that's why I don't like the Bembry thing. Because if your backup four is a 6'5" cutter, slasher, athlete, why would you bring in another motherfucker that does the same goddamn thing? Because you have the small ball four already. Now I don't think that's all that Caleb is. I think he does other things, but you can't really tell. I don't see. And honestly, I like Bembry as a player. If they bring in Bembry, I'm fine. But for someone to tell me that Bembry isn't a redundancy over Caleb, that's weird to me because they do the same damn things.
He just told you their difference is in who they guard. That's one of your major differences.
He's stronger than Caleb.
Okay,
he's
like they might have
says who? Because I've watched Caleb guard fours all season long.
Yeah, you've seen him guard backup fours. Bembry guards
ain't been here. Keith ain't been here for a minute. So who's been playing backup four?
Caleb and Jimmy.
No, I'm okay with Caleb guarding fours. I don't really think there's an. I don't think.
No,
there's
I'm not saying.
Are we saying that Caleb hasn't done a good job on the back?
So hold on, guys.
Caleb's hurt. That's what I'm saying. Caleb's hurt. You need some insurance.
Let's talk.
You're gonna bring in Bembry because you're afraid that Caleb is hurt. Like that is.
He's hurt right now. PJ went down today. Edmund got smacked.
That is a short-sighted way to listen. I like Bembry. If that's the best you can do with the backup four, fine. But
he's a little small.
Much rather get at least 1-4 on the team with size.
I think you need to get a little bigger. I'm with Alf. I think you need to go like 6'7" to 6'9".
Bigger is the option, but that's also not what's being said.
But if Bembry's a better player than the 6'7" guy, are you going to go with the 6'7" guy?
Right now, yes. I'd rather size. When Caleb is,
so you could choose KZ, Akpala, or Bembry. You're going KZ.
No, listen.
That's what I'm saying. If Bembry's the best option, he fits.
If Bembry's the best option, I'm fine. But what I'm trying to say is, I don't want 3 6'5" power forwards on the Heat.
I also want to say, like, when you're talking,
am I crazy to say I don't want 3 6'5" power forwards on the team?
No,
when you're talking about buyout candidates, the players often want to do the buyout. They choose a team if they're going to get playing time. So if you're talking about someone being like a backup of a backup, good luck.
That was my thing with Batum, because I'm just like, what are they going to sell? What are they going to sell Batum on? Now, I think the important thing we have to look at are the matchups in the Eastern Conference. You have at 4, like, you have Durant, you have Giannis, and you have Tobias Harris, right? I think the matchups that are issues for those smaller guys are not necessarily Durant. It's more the Tobias and the Giannis. But at that point, you kind of move a little bigger. You have Bam on those 4s, and you put PJ on the smaller 5s or on the 5s, and that's how you manipulate those matchups. And you just want to get your bigs and screening actions. So I understand the concern at backup 4. I do think Caleb's fine. It's not ideal, but they're really good on offense with it, and they put them on guards, and they just like the mobility with their bench, especially because they have, I think, a little bit more size in the front end, right? Because like Dedmon and Yurt are just bigger than Bam. So you have a little bit more size and like rebound insurance, right? And then you just have all these switchy wings and just you just hide Tyler. And the defense has been really good on the bench. So I get everybody's concern. I do think that they need something. I think if it's Bembry, it's fine. I'd prefer a little bigger, but I think Bembry's a totally adequate thing. But I think what Brass says is really the ticket here. They just can't bring a dude and be like, hey, come here, we might win a title, but also like you might not play that much. So you need to find a good sweet spot because their rotation's already really tight, and you're not going to take minutes away from Caleb or from other people. So that's really the balancing act that they got to run.
And to add on to G's point also, that is true. They need playing time. If they're on the buyout market, they're kind of fringe NBA players at that point. They need to try to earn another contract.
Not necessarily. They might be good players.
Was a buyout. Well, no, he wasn't on a buyout.
And like
he was out of the league for a little bit.
He's just home.
Yeah. But either way, they're looking to earn more money. They're going to look for playing time.
For people looking for Keith, this argument is over. Keith comes back. I don't think Keith's coming back, guys.
We know that they did look at backup fours in the trade market, which just makes people are like, oh, they didn't trade. They must feel good about Keith. And I'm like, no, they looked.
No, they tried.
They looked.
Listen, everything I've heard and everything I know is that they tried their damnedest to get a backup four without giving up Duncan or a first-round pick.
And they couldn't find a deal. And then that's really it.
And then people are like, he just didn't do anything. No, they shopped Duncan and a first-round pick for a wing player.
I heard that they took calls on Tyler or made calls on Tyler. I'm not particularly sure, but they were this
aggressive.
Front office does their due diligence.
They did, but the cost was not there. Like, so everybody.
The front office is not as cocky as the Heat fan. I want to make that clear.
The funny thing
they will make a move if there's a move to be made, but there really wasn't.
Heat fans were like, "Oh man, the Heat did nothing at the trade deadline." Well, they're sleeping.
Yeah, that doesn't mean they didn't try.
No, that doesn't mean they didn't try. That means Jeremy Grant didn't go anywhere. Y'all wanted Jeremy Grant, right? Marcus Morris didn't go anywhere. You wanted Marcus Morris.
Harry B.
Harrison Barnes didn't go nowhere. G been pounding the drum for Harrison Barnes for 3 years. And
Harrison Barnes might be the only player in Kings history to never be traded.
Dude, it's insane.
So let me explain something to you. If the Heat didn't get any of these guys, the price was too fucking high.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Like, you do not give up 2 first-round picks for Harrison Barnes. I know G was on board with that, but that's wild.
I've never been ratioed so hard by Heat Twitter in my life.
Bro, you are an idiot.
Dog,
for saying that.
I had Heat Twitter saying I wouldn't do that just for Duncan. I was like, y'all hated him a week ago.
No, I would have done Duncan for Harrison.
I would have too.
Oh yeah, of course.
I'm not a fan of Marcus Morris, but I know a lot of people love Marcus Morris.
If
it was Marcus Morris for Duncan Robinson straight up, if it happened, I would have been okay. But if you're offering Duncan Robinson and Marcus Morris, Duncan Robinson and a first-round pick for Marcus Morris, and the Clippers say no, what, you gonna come back with another offer? You walk the fuck away.
Also, look at the deals that went down. Like any team that had similar kinds of assets, those deals didn't get made. It was typically
no difference player at the wing position was moved.
And Chicago was making calls because they are. Listen, the Heat are looking for a backup four. They fucking just need any four because they don't have one,
right?
And they don't know about Pat Williams. And if the fact that they did nothing, I think has been one of the loudest things of today. The fact that the Bulls did nothing to get better.
The Lakers did nothing.
Well, the Lakers.
You don't think
and they sat Russ last night.
The Knicks did nothing.
I'm telling y'all, everybody's like, "Oh, the Heat should have pushed all their chips to the table." Nigga,
what does that even mean?
You think the Heat got? They ain't lazy.
Look, it's like I always say, for a trade to happen, the other team also has to say yes.
No, that's not true. Apparently, you Twitter doesn't believe that.
Take care of yes.
Is that serious? So look, like y'all said, if it's and I can shed the Duncan bit. Trade deadline's over. I don't give a fuck about this nigga anymore. Look, so. The Marcus Morris for Duncan. I would love that trade. Hell yeah, bring him in, especially if Oladipo looks as good as people said. But Marcus Morris has been the Clippers' best player, and they already have Luke Kennard. Why would they say yes to that? Why would they give him up to us?
Because
Harrison Barnes has been amazing.
Because we wanted it, Kenny.
Harrison Barnes has been amazing. The Kings made move, got better. They're probably gonna make the playoffs this year. They're not making.
Everyone knows Riley just has to nod, and then teams will just do whatever they want. So like if they don't get a player, it's like it's fully the Heat's fault. I mean, just sleeping.
He'd have sold out so many players that teams are going to be like, you know what? I think this guy's going to be better for us than he is with them, you know?
And the league already doesn't like the Heat to begin with. They're not doing us any favors.
My favorite thing is all the people that think Duncan sucks, right? Want to trade him for Jeremy Grant. Like, you want to trade a guy who sucks and has 4 more years on his contract for Jeremy Grant. Like,
right. You're out there saying, "Oh, Duncan's going to play in China," but you're looking to fucking, get like a sharpshooter for him. Like, what are you doing there?
Contracts. The second thing is, like, if he's that bad, why would Detroit say we're going to give up Jeremy Grant for Duncan Robinson and 1 first-round pick from the top seed in the East? Because that is basically a second-round pick.
Yeah.
Like,
that pick is not going to be good.
No. And Duncan has 4 years left on his contract. Like,
are you saying that's a good
Duncan's
thing?
making too much money, but the
no, I'm saying that it's not. That is their best asset to trade with a sweetener, but it's very hard to get somebody to come up off of, because all the way the contracts are all set up, it's very hard to get off of a guy like Jeremy Grant, Marcus Morris, best players on a team, and then saddle yourself to Duncan Robinson for 4 more years if you don't think Duncan Robinson's all that, and the Heat are too good for their first-round picks to be worth shit.
Yeah, and if you're Detroit, you're like Jeremy Grant's been your superstar, and you're gonna say, hey, we're trading for a shooter who's got 4 years left and is on a down year. Like, how are you gonna sell that to your fans?
Alf, I think this is an argument ender. Whenever there's a star to be had, at bare minimum, they get in the room. Regardless of what assets they had. They got a meeting with LaMarcus Aldridge, and all they had was a mid-level exception. They got Jimmy Butler with no assets and capped out. They got off of Hassan Whiteside with a phone call. 2 phone calls, because they almost got rid of him twice in the same
They
night.
got off Mo Harkless twice.
We got off Mo Harkless twice, right? They got off of James Johnson, and they get off whoever they want. Almost whenever Dion Waiters, they Tyler Johnson, just every contract that we've fucking complained and did months of shows on, they got rid of, and most of the good stars that are available, again, at bare minimum, they got a fucking meeting with Kevin Durant, they got a fucking meeting with, like I said, LaMarcus, they're in the call every time. So when push comes to shove and they got to move Duncan, they're gonna move Duncan. So we don't got to worry about that. And if there's not a trade to be made to make them better, they're just not going to do it. And we got to trust Pat and Andy.
What's the point?
You know why you don't trade Duncan Robinson?
Trust Pat and Andy.
Because Duncan Robinson, Tyler after an extension, and 2 first-round picks gets you Donovan Mitchell.
He's their only ticket. He is their only salary to move. And
I thought you don't trade him because then you wouldn't have Tres Leches.
Fuck Tres Leches.
Do you know why you don't get rid of Duncan Robinson? I'll tell you straight up. Because he's never going to give you up. He's never going to let you down. He's never going to run around or desert you.